We've got a Federal Reserve that has just told us they're going to leave rates again the same. And my trouble with this is that this Federal Reserve has been wrong over and over and over again. I mean, gosh, I should run the Federal Reserve, right? What did I tell you? Way back in August 2020, when Donald Trump handed out the second stimulus check, I said, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful. I remember some of my production team being like, hey, Trish, like, look, I just call it like I see it. And I like Donald Trump and his policies very, very much. But on that one, I was like, just be cautious. Because if you have the federal government giving out money while simultaneously the Federal Reserve keeps printing money, boom, you're going to have inflation like you never saw before. And what happened? Joe Biden comes in, he gives out a third stimulus check, and he's not satisfied with just that. Oh no, he's going to do multiple rounds of stimulus, including that IRA, Inflation Reduction Act, which just added to, ladies and gentlemen, ta-da, more inflation. So now the Fed comes out today, says it's going to hold steady, but they're penciling in one more increase this year, which is kind of funny because they're going to so mess themselves up. They don't want to have to raise rates right before an election, but that's what they're going to do. And so you're going to have more inflation, which is going to cause they're going to have to do it this next time, but they're going to have to do it again. And they're going to have to do it again. And what do you know? You run the risk of a real recession right before an election. So, wow, they've got to be really freaked out about Donald Trump winning. When you look at all these polls and you see the success, right, of all of these polls right now, and you see that Donald Trump is climbing, and you think about the economy, and you think about war, and you think about gas prices, which, hey, last month were up 10.4%, and you think about the border, well, that is a recipe for getting Donald Trump elected again. It is. Rupert Murdoch won't be happy. Right? He's really, really not going to be happy. But that is the people saying, okay, like this isn't working for us. And we don't believe you, which is why the new poll shows 70% of people no longer have any faith in our institutions. The more you try and muzzle us, the more we lack trust, the more we lack faith. And that is, I think, fundamentally, really and truly the issue here. It's great to see you guys. I love your responses here, by the way. I love your responses on what we saw from Garland and the sort of gymnastics he was doing, right? Linguistically. And the guy from Louisiana just wasn't having any of it. Very, very interesting to see. We do have, for sure, a border problem. And some of you, like Spencer, are pointing to George Soros and this idea of, an open society. And that's all great, like in the panacea of things. But there is something called reality. And I think the distinction, the difference right now between the most liberal people and those that are independents and in the middle and those that are right of the middle is that everybody else is grounded in reality. Like it's very easy to say, sure, we want to open up our border and do this. And this is very, very nice. Oh, we don't want any police. We don't want any police until actually the criminals start coming for us. I think the difference here is those of us that are rooted in some kind of reality, some kind of logic, we want to make sure that people are protected. And that includes, for example, our kids. I want to show you some really incredible, compelling video that is just out. And it's of some kids in Pennsylvania that have said, you know what? We're done. We don't want the boys using the girls' room. Thank you very much. And they have every right. I mean, come on. This is so beyond the beyond, right? I mean, the idea that somehow you feel like a girl today and you get to use the ladies' room. It's not right, and it's not fair to the girls. I mean, you're trying to protect this 0.01% instead of building them their own multi-gender restroom. You have to make a point of letting them, the boys, use the girls' room because they feel like girls or they identify as girls today. Well, kids now are saying, forget about this. Watch this video. It's really great. All of these kids walking out, and the line just goes on and on and on and on. Look at this. They're holding up signs. They've had it. Way to go, kids. You know, I mean, at some point, don't they matter? Don't their opinions matter? Maybe take a vote. Why is it that every girl has to deal with guys coming into the restroom? Because of a political agenda that these lefties and extremists are trying to push. I said years ago, you know, I don't think this is much of a story. I remember my old producer and I from Fox, actually, she and I were talking about this the other day. She's like, remember when? And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, why are we doing this story? She brought it to me and I was like, ugh. Like, I mean, this can't have legs. I mean, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. I mean, I don't think this is fair. My whole point was like, what about girls? We're the feminists. Like, why can't you stand up for young women? But I kept saying, this can't possibly matter because it's such a small fragment of the population. But when that small fragment of the population takes over and becomes effectively a bullying machine, and suddenly you're transphobic if you don't want to use the restroom with the people that may be identifying as a girl on a given day, suddenly you're the girl being put in the bad spot. I mean, I really think that there's kind of a war on women going on female athletes, on young women that want to have some boundaries. They're telling you can't and that you're transphobic if you dare to say, I don't think this is right. Or you're, you know, better yet, a Karen. That's their whole thing too. You know, any girl who speaks up is being marginalized. They've done this to men, for sure, the whole mansplaining thing, etc. And now they're doing it to women in an attempt to totally destroy and to divide and to dissect our society, to get us into the most marginalized group, and to then allow those super marginalized groups to have all the power. Well, these kids, they get it. They know what's right and what's wrong. They know they have a voice, which is why they're out there marching. I'm betting you anything, you're going to see more of this, ladies and gentlemen. More of this, because they matter too. So congratulations to them. I hope they get the situation rectified there. And I think that we need more young people just saying, you know what, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stand up to this. I'm not going to swim in the pool with the person who suddenly feels female. Like I'm just, you know, nothing I get. By the way, I've worked in the performing arts my whole life. Like I've known a lot of very diverse people and adore them. So this has nothing to do with being discriminatory or not empathetic or anything like that. I'm just saying what's fair is fair. Okay. You were born with a different set of, you know, hormones, including testosterone, which helps to build more muscle. And so if I were the girls, I'd say, you know what? Hey, see ya. I'm not racing today. I don't need that. Just like those girls can say, have another bathroom, have another swimming lane, right? Hey everyone, Trish Regan here. If you enjoyed that clip, please do me the favor of subscribing to the channel. Just hit that little subscribe button right over there. Did I do that right? Not quite, but you know where it is. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you get the alerts, and I'll see you back on the show.